The average global cost of cybercrime increased by over 27% in 2017, with the total number of data breaches rising across several industries. Hackers are finding increasingly sophisticated ways to access an organization's data, which can have a major financial impact on a company. To illustrate, a data breach with over 50,000 compromised records costs companies on average $6.3 million. These large-scale data breaches are widely publicized in the media. However, it is actually small businesses that are most vulnerable, making up 58% of total malware attacks. Large companies are continually improving their defenses against cybercriminals, so not only are hackers becoming more sophisticated, they are also looking to target more vulnerable companies. There are three main factors that make startups vulnerable to an attack. Number one, limited resources. Startups face the problem of having a lot of data, but little or no resources dedicated to the protection of this data, with cybersecurity usually taking a back seat to aggressive user acquisition. Number two, the sharing of information. The ease of access to and sharing of information in startups makes the company vulnerable to an attack. Number three, bring your own device. Bring your own device policies are often a necessity in startup companies, but studies have shown that a staggering 61% of small to medium-sized enterprises in the UK have experienced a cybersecurity threat after introducing such a policy. Clearly, therefore, safe and effective data storage and transfer can be a huge issue. So how can startups more comprehensively and cost-effectively protect their data? The answer is encryption. Encryption is a method of encoding your data so that it's only viewable by certain individuals. As technology has progressed, and the amount of sensitive data people possess and transfer proliferates, two key encryption methods have been increasingly dominant. These are symmetric key encryption and asymmetric key encryption. Symmetric key encryption is the simplest method. It uses two identical but distinctly separate keys, and these keys can either be a number or a string of random characters. They're blended with the text to alter the original content. Party A shares the key with Party B to ensure they can both send and receive encoded messages. Asymmetric key encryption is the newer and arguably more effective method. It uses two different keys to encrypt a message. One key is public and the other is private. The public key is made available to anyone who wants to send a message, whereas the private key is kept in a secure location by the owner of the public key. The public key encrypts the information and the private decrypts it. Using two keys makes this method more secure, albeit more complex. In a startup, a breach is more likely to happen internally rather than from hackers. It's important, therefore, to make sure your security policy is accessible to all employees. As a startup, you may look to use a template when writing your security policy. We'll be using a common template to demonstrate how you can incorporate encryption into relevant areas of the security policy. The introduction is a great way to affirm the company's dedication to data protection. Sharing data amongst employees makes data vulnerable. It is vital that data is effectively classified. This goes hand in hand with encryption, as it provides a guidance on what data needs to be encrypted. Although this template has provided a good overview of the classifications, it could go further by explaining how it will be encrypted at rest and in transit. Suitable encryption software is necessary to generate the unique algorithms used for encrypting and decrypting data. 7-Zip is a free storage encryption option suitable for most startups. It's capable of encrypting both individual files or entire volumes. Alternatively, Vericrypt offers a less simple but higher grade storage encryption option used not only to encrypt files but entire hard drives. Both programs have been designed to ensure software is as simple as possible and is suitable to any organization, however small. Furthermore, both support encrypted data transfer with promises of future mobile applications. Encryption of personal devices should also be highlighted in this section. So far, we have covered embedding encryption into the more practical areas of the security policy. However, without compliance and understanding from employees, these systems will be of little value. All new employees should receive an encryption introduction as part of their onboarding process, which should be made explicit in the policy. It is also important that before an employee is given access to classified data, they formally acknowledge the company's policies in order to ensure accountability. A safety-conscious attitude towards data starts at the cultural business level. It is therefore imperative that employees acknowledge data protection as one of their responsibilities, with an explicit reference to encryption. Do not assume that because your files are encrypted, your information is 100% safe from attackers. Usual basic security guidelines like secure passwords and clear desk policies and being cautious of phishing emails still apply. And although you may have adequate prevention measures in place, it's still important to plan for failure. There should be a reporting operation to investigate, report, and mitigate breaches. To summarise, as your company continues to grow, you'll collect vast amounts of new information, and if you fail to encrypt your data, you're taking an unnecessary risk that could impede the company's growth. However, the great news is that startups are in a strong position to implement encryption. Little capital is required to begin using encryption on sensitive data, and furthermore, when built into the company's principles from an early stage, it can give your startup a competitive edge over rivals.